Well, good morning, everybody. It is a chilly morning out there.
It is definitely chilly, that's for sure.
Have I ever told you how much I hate winter?
I thought this
I
was
hate
your
being cold.
favorite time of year.
No, well, it is a great time of the year.
Yeah.
It is for sure. But hey, everybody, I hope you're all staying warm and cozy and staying out of the harsh weather and all that kind of stuff too. But hey, just want to come and talk to you about our holiday hours and things coming up, plus give you some information on what to be doing in these safe winter cold months of but driving. So first of all, we want to talk about what you need to be putting in your fuel tanks today. Hope you did it already, because if you had, maybe a little bit behind, but if you haven't, we got some good information to tell you about that. But first of all, we're going to be closed the 24th, 25, and 26th. There will not be a live show with you this Saturday coming up. The following Saturday we'll be open on the 31st, so we'll have a show on the 31st, the last day of the year. But the dealership is closed December 24th, 25, and 26th. For all of us, enjoy some fun times with our families and stuff. We've had an awesome year. We've all worked very hard, and going to be fun to have 3 days off.
Josh? Yeah. It's last year was the same way, and after about that second day, it's like almost feels like job abandonment when you work as many hours as we do. But it was definitely well appreciated and deserved. I think for us to be able to spend that time with our families and stuff like that, for sure. So.
Agree. So anyway, hey, let's talk about this cold weather and what you need to be doing with your fuel tanks and stuff too. Fuel dryer, or you're all going to have condensation in your fuel tank. It just depends on how much you're going to put in your fuel, how much you're going to get in your fuel tank and everything else too. I advise everybody at this time of the year, never let your tank go below a half of a tank. Keep it always on the top side. The lesser you keep in your tank, the more chance you got condensation. Of course, condensation is water, and it's heavier than fuel, so it ends up in the bottom of the tank, and that's where your fuel pickup is. The first initial deal. So anyway, Josh, throw it on the screen what we got here for.
Yeah, we're going to see if this will work or do anything. So the first thing we've got is a couple of different BG, or we've got a couple of different BG products, but then also the Ford anti-gel and cetane booster as well. This is something that we sell quite a lot of, and this time of year, anti-gel is huge in diesel. We get the first cold snap like this, and it's nothing to have 10, 15 diesels towed in for gelled up fuel, which essentially what that is that fuel, it turns into a wax from that side, and then it's once it's not a liquid anymore, then the fuel system struggles to do its job to be able to make the thing run. And so there's a lot of different anti-gel products out there on the market. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you, you're going to get what you pay for, just like every other chemical, for sure. And so there's a lot of great benefits to good quality anti-gel, and then some of them are dual purpose. I've seen a lot of dual purpose chemicals out there as well, like with a cetane booster and an anti-gel from that side. But one thing I will tell you about anti-gel, and I was looking for specs before the show here on the couple of different products that we have in-house to offer, but there is different levels of anti-gel. In other words, when I say that is when you treat fuel with an anti-gel, it may treat it to a -10 or a -20, and I've seen it, your typical anti-gel ranges from about a -25 to a -40 degree temperature, which around here, a lot of times the middle one will do. But to me, if I'm going to treat it and you're going to get as cold of weathers as we are having today, why not go the extra mile and make sure that you're covered on that side of things.
If I was driving a diesel and I knew the temperature was getting to 32 degrees or freezing, I would be putting anti-gel in my tank every time I filled up.
Yeah.
From that part. So that's what Ford's got to offer. Josh, what else do we have on the BG side?
Yeah, so on the BG side of things, they have this guy right here, and again, this is an anti-gel, and it's also a conditioner as well for the fuel. And knowing the difference, you really got to watch a couple of different things. One is what each bottle treats. That not all of them are the same. Some are more concentrated, and so you really need to read the labels and understand, what you're putting in, and making sure that your chemistry is right, for sure.
So again, I'm pretty partial to the old BG side. I don't know in case somebody knows that or whatever.
There is a lot of, or some differences between that and some of the things that I was talking about on just the difference between the Ford anti-gel and the BG anti-gel is the temperature in which it will treat to or works to. But then a lot of the other things or misconceptions that I see about anti-gel or misuse of anti-gel is a lot of people will go through and, like today, think, oh my gosh, I got to get some anti-gel in it. And so they'll put it in right now. Well, you're not doing any good because this stuff, it's got to be mixed in with the fuel above typically about 30 degrees outside. So it can, actively mix in with the fuel and be treated before the weather gets to this point. And so that's probably the most common mistake people use about anti.
Well, yeah, if it's already gelled up, sorry, you're going to have to get it into a nice hot, warm stall for 24 hours or whatever. And there is some products out there you can put in your fuel to ungel it, but
we've got one of those as well on here for us to take a look at as well. So I can flip over to that here. So BG offers this. Again, there's some other products out there as well, but this is diesel fall, and this is for once the accident has already occurred. But there's also some other steps that have to be taken in order to get this product to work. We're essentially dumping, this doesn't necessarily go in the tank as much as when, if a vehicle is already gelled full of fuel, you got to take care of the tank side of thing. But this is more of you change the fuel filters and put this in with the fuel filter so it can get up into the
injectors and all that stuff too.
Yep. And what a lot of people, these fuel systems, especially in the diesels, are running very high pressure. And so when you're starving a injector system or fuel system from being able to produce the pressure that it needs, those components are working harder for sure. And so, it's definitely a disservice to the fuel system to let it gel up or be in that particular situation. So there's definitely a right way to fix it, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just stuff on your diesels. Now let's go to gasoline. Do we have something up on gasoline?
I didn't pull up anything on gas.
Well, let's talk about gas because there's a lot of products out there too for your gasoline engines and stuff from that part. And the biggest thing I'm going to tell you on that is you need to look at what you're buying. Again, like Josh said, you get what you pay for, but you need to look on the label, make sure it has, and I'm going to say this word out there, isopropyl alcohol. If it doesn't have that in there, don't put it in your tank. The reason that's the actual ingredient that does go and it mixes that water with the fuel and lets it burn through the system and stuff too. So you got to be careful with that. There's a lot of things out there in the market, and if it doesn't have the isopropyl alcohol in it, I'm telling you, don't put it in your system. It's not going to work. It's not going to help you from that part either. So anyway, like I said, if you haven't put some in now, you might be a little bit too late, but you going forward, we're still got a couple more cold days and stuff like that too going forward. So if the fuel dryer and a gasoline engine just be put in at any time, but that diesel stuff, you got to be at least above freezing to put the diesel stuff in there too. So wanted to give you a little tips and on everything on keeping your cars going smoothly and everything else in this cold weather. And again, let them warm up a little bit before you take off. This cold temperatures is hard on things. Even if you could just give them 10 seconds before you throw that thing into gear, but more likely get the remote starts on them, get them fired up, let them run 15 minutes before you throw that thing into gear, will be drastically improved. So I hope this weather gets blown out of here pretty quick and we don't have to worry about it too much more, but I'm afraid we got a couple more days of it.
Sunny and 70, baby. Here we go.
Something like that, right? So, hey, anyway, everybody, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are not going to be here this Saturday. The dealership is going to be closed the 24, 25, and 26. So no live show for you this Saturday, but we'll be back next Saturday. The 31st for our live show. And then, of course, we're going to be closed the 1st, which is Sunday. And we're also going to be closed the 2nd on that Monday for everybody to enjoy it. Another couple more days off. Going to be kind of weird. 2 days off, 3 days off, and then 2 days off, right, Josh?
Yep.
Hey, everybody, stay safe and warm. Have a very Merry Christmas. And we'll talk to you on the 31st.